What's up, Bears fans? Harrison Graham here with another video, and it is time to answer your questions. So coming up in a few minutes, we'll take your questions, hashtag Bears Super Chat on today's mailbag. But do want to hit a quick topic here. Could Chicago sign Ndamukong Suh, the defensive tackle, the vet, in free agency? He recently, in the last few weeks, said that he does intend to play in 2023. Remember, last year he signed late in the year with Philadelphia and played pretty well for them in a rotation role, but he did make it clear, just like last year, that he does not intend to participate in training camp. So he'll be a guy that would like to sign between camp and week one. Here was the direct quote from the veteran defensive tackle. He said, "I have no desire to be in a training camp. I will come in and watch." So he says he'll sign, just not participate. Give some advice, but when week one happens, I'll be ready to go. You look at his recent seasons here, and he still is a guy who has some on-field value. Sure, he only had 1 sack in 8 games last year, but he actually graded out pretty well for PFF. 6 sacks in the 2 prior seasons as well when he played pretty much full seasons there. So I think he's a guy, as a veteran and as a player who can still produce a little bit, does have some value. You look at his PFF grades from last year. Again, I mean, 64 overall. That's kind of, average to a tick above average. Run defense, he was above average. Pass rush, not as much, but he did have 9 pressures, which is a pretty decent stat, just over a pressure a game there for Ndamukong Suh. Now, the Bears have added a little bit more at that defensive tackle position this offseason. They drafted Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens, also added Travis Bell in the 7th round. But, if a guy like Bell isn't ready to be on a 53, maybe you practice squad him. Suh's your 4th or 5th guy here, provides veteran experience and rotation. If nothing else, he's been on some contending teams in recent years. The Bucs, the Eagles. I think he provides that veteran presence. I get that he, isn't the most well-received guy, you could say. He's had some controversies over the years with his antics on the field, but I do think that he would bring a young team like this some value here in 2023. Now, would you sign Ndamukong Suh? Maybe you don't want to deal with it. Maybe you're like, yeah, I'm good. We'll play some youngsters. Type S for sign, or you can type P for pass. Curious what you guys think in the comments below. S for sign, P for pass. Would you sign Ndamukong Suh? Shout out to Sam Lakhtara with the Super Chat. All Super Chats get on the show. He says, do you slow down at yellow traffic lights before they turn red, or do you speed up to beat them? Speaking of which, give Ngakoue the bunny. We explored this in between segments, Sam, and I think the red light, yellow light thing, it's very situation to situation based. Not all yellow lights are created equal, but in terms of Ngakoue, I know it's like beating a dead horse at this point, but I would sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal and get him in here. Shout out to Wyatt, hashtag Bears. Do you think that we can sign Dalvin Cook? The Bears were interested in him, though. I actually don't think the Bears have shown interest. I know some articles have linked the Bears to him, but the Bears themselves, I have not seen actively show interest. I think he's a scheme fit. I do think he'd be good in this offense, but you have Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman, and you drafted Roschon Johnson. And you have Travis Homer. Like, who is he taking carries from? Like, I think he's better than some of those guys, for sure. But do you want to stunt the growth of Khalil Herbert? I think if you were to sign him, you're basically saying, all right, Deontay Foreman, I know we signed you, but we're going to cut you loose. Will with the Super Chat. Shout out to Will. You going to any games this year, either of you? I got my tickets to the Tampa Bay game. I am in Florida. I'd love to go, but we got to do these watch parties, Will. I think in the future it could be possible to do some watch or to attend some games maybe, but I don't think it'll happen this season. We'll just have to wait and see how it all ends up playing out. Sports updates. How many touchdowns will Robert Tonyan have? He had 12 a few years ago, 2 just last year. So I think, give me 4. Double last year. 4 touchdowns for Tonyan, 300, 400 yards is the number 2 tight end. I think that'd be pretty solid. From Lovey Smith, do you think Terell Smith, 5th-round rookie corner, can bring anything to the team? Watch some of his tape, and he looks explosive. Probably why Poles is waiting on signing a defensive. Oh, you're talking about the corner Terell Lewis, or the defensive end Terell Lewis. Terell Smith is the corner. If you're talking about the defensive end thing. Yeah, he had a pretty good OTAs in minicamp. Terell Lewis did, if that's who you're talking about. He could be a sneaky guy that makes the roster, especially if they don't address edge. So we'll see what happens there. But I still think you got to go sign somebody. From F. Marsh, why isn't Justin Houston being discussed more? He played well under Flus and Indy. Is this why it's burner account? I think, we've talked about Justin Houston some, but I think for a couple reasons. He's a little bit older. He's been more of a 3-4 guy for the most of his career, but he wasn't in Indianapolis in 2019 and in 2020. Played in Matt Eberflus's 4-3 scheme, had 19 sacks combined in those 2 seasons. Had a bit of a downtick in 21, but bounced back last year with 9.5 sacks while playing, I think, only 44% of defensive snaps in Baltimore. So I think as a rotation rusher, Houston can still have value. Could give you 5 to 8 sacks here in 2023. I'd sign him right now. I mean, you've got Dom Robb, Trevis Gibson, and you added DeMarcus Walker, but you certainly need more pass rushers, and I think a guy like Justin Houston, even at an advanced age, can still give you some of that pass rush production. All right, if you want the Bears to sign Justin Houston, type me in the comments right now. If you want to see the veteran pass rusher in Chicago, go ahead and type me. Maybe Darnell Mooney wants Justin Houston. He says, what do you rank the wide receiver core from all 32 teams? I mean, on paper, if Mooney and Claypool can get healthy with DJ Moore, I mean, that trio should be top half of the league. I'll just kind of spitball 15 right now. I think it's got potential to be top 10, but we haven't seen all these guys play together. We got to see how it all looks. But you got a good top 3 on paper. I like the depth pieces in Tyler Scott and Equinemius St. Brown and Velus Jones if Velus can take a step forward. But, it's all projecting right now because there's established duos and trios that have been doing it for years and years and years. Keem with the super. He says, sup, HG, what's up, man? Hot take, Bears go 10-7. Claypool becomes wide receiver 2, and Mooney gets traded midseason. Also, Roschon Johnson for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Right now, it actually sounds like Rojo is kind of a distant RB3 behind Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman. So, maybe he's not going to have quite as big of a role in year 1 as we thought might end up being the case. As far as 10-7, I could see that. I don't think it's a blazing hot take. It's a mild take. Like that would be a big jump from last year. Claypool wide receiver 2, I could see that happening, but he's got a lot to prove. Midseason trade for Mooney, it's probably the boldest one you got on here. JF1 is him. Who do you think will have the most sacks this year? For the Bears, based on who they currently have, I would say DeMarcus Walker. He had 7 last year for Tennessee. 7 or 8 would probably lead the team this year with what they currently have. So I would say him, but I'm hoping you can add somebody that gets into the mix as well. Henry Forte, what is your expectations for the offensive line this upcoming season? I think this can be a, middle of the NFL O-line as in run blocking situations. So, like 14 to 18, and then pass blocking, give me top 20. If you can do that, I'd be pretty happy. You'd be taking steps in the right direction. You'd still be having a group that's growing together. Like Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, they're all in their 3rd year or less. That group can grow together. Nate Davis, you just signed him to a 3-year deal. So this is a group that should be ascending over the next couple of years. Dylan Peterson, if we sign Yannick, what do you think the contract could look like? Well, I don't think it would be more than a 2-year deal. I think it would be 1 or 2 years at, $6 to $9 million per year. He wants 8 to 10 reportedly. Could you get that down to 6 or 7? Maybe, how about this? 2 years, $15 million, $10 million guaranteed? Who says no? I would love that deal. Jordan Martin, who do you think leads the team in interceptions? If Eddie Jackson's fully healthy, probably him. I'll throw in Kyler Gordon as a wild card, though. Jalen Johnson's never been a guy that creates a lot of interceptions. I think he only has 1 in 3 years, but he forces a bunch of incompletions. So I don't think he's just going to all of a sudden jump up and go get 4 or 5. But Gordon had 3 last year despite struggling. So if he can kind of improve overall and still get those takeaways, I could see him getting 4 or 5. Clark Barr, trade Claypool for Chase Young. Chase Young has not played the last 2 years, basically. If I'm getting rookie year Chase Young, yeah, I would do that. But I don't know that, do I? If I knew it was good Chase Young, I would absolutely do that, no doubt. Ben Seaton, would you sign a veteran defensive tackle and a veteran defensive end for mentorship with the young defensive line? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they would sign one at each position. I think if you picked one, it would be defensive end. But yeah, like, adding like a Suh and then like an Ngakoue or a Justin Houston, that would certainly help both on the field and just with this young group. Sports updates, do we sign Marcedes Lewis? I would be open to that. I think the Bears have a need at that number 3 tight end spot. You've got Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan. We've talked about Lewis a couple times recently. He knows the offense. He's a good blocker. So, yeah, I would certainly be open to it. Would the Bears, would himself at 38, does he want to join a young Bears team? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he would feel about joining this, but he does have that connection with Luke Getsy, so something you can't ignore. From Dragon, who would win in a 40-yard dash, Harrison or Roley? Are you willing to prove it in film? Probably Roley right now. 1, he's in a little bit better of shape than me, and 2, my foot's actually kind of messed up. I'm actually going to go see a doctor soon, so I would say Roley would win that. Roley, you care to chime in here? He's trying to get his mic working. Roley's telling me in my ear that he would smoke me. So
yeah, all right, the mic's finally working. Yeah, you know what? I've been working out. I've been doing pretty good. I'd say I'm in pretty good shape for the first time in about 3 or 4 years. I think I could run a decent number 40-yard dash.
Well, and in classic Harrison fashion, I've been going on a lot of walks in this hot heat with my son recently, and now my foot's fucked up. So
I think I could run a solid O-line 5 number in the 40-yard dash.
I will say this: I ran
burners for a big guy.
Yeah, same when I was more peak big guy. I ran a 5.1 like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. So for an out of college, out of shape guy, not bad. So if I got back into shape, I could flirt early 5s. I think. Right now with a bad foot though, we're probably looking more mid 5s. So. That's why I'm not rushing the passer for the Chicago Bears. Speaking of which, if you want more coverage, hit that subscribe button because I'm not going to join any athletic team soon. I'm going to be right here bringing you guys the latest updates. That's why you should subscribe to the channel. It is 100% free.